ground in terms of who we come out as a nation. Most of them here away the EU mission record, not just thing that we will not don't talk about. The activists that we do on the ground don't talk about them here like 2 years ago. For example, when I've been chairman of the Renaissance, we put out a statement where 10 members of parliament were thrown out of parliament by judicial process. But again, for me, waiting significance for notes, as a young person who grew up during the civil conflicts, understand and don't live through the experiences of civil conflict. And all the historical records that we'll get, they point to the fact that some of them here where they happen in a nation, now in the precipitate conflicts, now in the cause conflicts. So it's important for we go back. It's important for we remember the over 100,000 lives where we lost. Important to remember institutions like Radio Democracy, we then stand up for democracy. It's important. So whether indictment here they come on institutions, for me worrying. But again, for me, I'm comforted by the fact that they not go feel say no more that activists are within a ground, now then they cause noise. Right? We don't get independent and credible mission. We don't come and then document all them findings and then conclude say there is a significant decrease in trust in important institutions of government. And by the way, democracy not a one-man government. Now institutions and they build democracy. And once the institutions and the level of trust don't sharply decline in them, then it means that with democracy don't get problem. And I mean, wherever you stand in the political divide, the fact of the matter is, look at new, the press release, and talk about Togri, talk about in the broad daylight changing of ballot marks and ballot results, and results, for example. All lentin and day for make we institutions and step back and say, you know what? Now we the guide with democracy. Not to one man get government. Not to the president of Sierra Leone get government. Now institutions, right? If now President Trump no more in America, if we don't take America to the gutters. But because of the institutions and they keep them in check. So for me, while it's worrying signs that we institutions say all they come under the indictments, it's also good because if they take them here positively before 2023 and then reorganize themselves and then put them together, it means we will set a better stage for 2023. Right. Because we don't want to go back to them terrible past and day. A number of people they lost their hand them, they lost their destinies, woman them, picking them, they were violated. We remember this. We institutions and for members say this country and then they keep them. So and then not for compromise the standards with democracy with democracy wants.
So in as much as you don't say for you then concerns here worrying and una been done the talk even before now, before the EU, they can police and final report as to follow up on what don't happen. Then we don't pull any recommendations here since after the 2018 elections. And the institutions then where they make mention of so, they know say their recommendations and they don't come up before they can do follow up. So from then and to now, where one of the activists then been done, they talk on behalf of Salon people, them, their institutions here. Been done, they take the issues here seriously as they supposed for to come because they don't pull the report then after the elections.
Quite clearly, maybe I think if they don't take them very seriously, we'll not don't get really terrible findings here where EU don't make. And by the way, EU not sit down, they're not sit down at Europe and make them findings. What they do, they come on the ground and they speak to a number of governance activists there, number of institutions, ordinary people, etc., etc. So where they don't collect all them findings here, for let an institution of that kind credibility, they use them very sharp words and say significant decrease in trust. And if the people of Sierra Leone can't trust the judiciary, if the people of Sierra Leone can't trust NEC where they organize election, if the people of Sierra Leone can't trust the PPRC where they regulate political parties, if the people of Sierra Leone can't trust the police whether your mandates are for defend life and property, then it's absolutely worrying.
Some of them
and to answer your question, I don't think say the institutions here from 2018 to date don't make significant progress in adhering to the recommendations where the EU been list.
Mr. Mara, some of the institutions they also where the EU indicts na the recommendation them. For example, the judiciary, the police. Now institution them where activists they like you, we don't they try for call out, check them on some of the things them where Una believes say Una believes they happen, right? For example, the elections petition case them and the landmark judgment by the High Court during that thing, and you'll see activists them been come out, speak to some of the issues they are say wrong. Seeing the same issues there now the EU follow-up mission we stand out when they talk about the judiciary. It been surprised Una at any point?
No, you're not surprised. As a matter of fact, I think say validate what we do. Essentially, don't tell we say it's an added reason to continue to do what we do, because we don't get an independent institution. We don't come and say the trust in the judiciary don't go so low, right? And I think say it's significant for note always when they talk about democracy, Lord, remember the TRC findings and then the recommendations and then all the blame them, all the institutions that we them blame, especially the judiciary, especially the police, for goodness sake. Every time they deal with democracy, for remember say the institutions and then they keep country together. And I think say they not do significantly too much in terms of making sure that all the things that we been they happen before the civil conflict happened in 1991, for example. They make sure say we not go back. Because now if you mention the institutions and you go back to the TRC report, now then same institutions here are mentioned. It means saying over 20, 30 years, significantly, because believe you me they hope say now where the EU come, then we can take best lessons and examples from the Sierra Leone police, from the judiciary. Then we can take with judgment now they export them across the world. Because United Nations puts so much money for consolidate with peace.
Right.
And the institutions here know they do so much for keep this peace. Where boku Sierra Leoneans are lost in life, then destinies then shattered because of the peace we have. And once the institutions say the trust in them don't decline, it means say with democracy really they in jeopardy.
All right, continue for the between at the studio. Augustine Sorisembe Mara, we'll come back to you. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and today at the program, as we told you earlier, we look at concerns them where the EU election observation mission been pulled as follow-up after we don't make about 29 recommendation them to government, but waiting them in fair notes now the 2018 elections ahead of the 2023 now. They may expect say changes for that happen. We not going to affect the 2023 election, but the reports where them pull, they indict some institutions them where they in charge for sure say Salon people and get free and fair election, where they say the institutions here, so Salon people done they lost trust in them. The judiciary now one of the institutions them where the EU reports don't indict for say Salon people them done they lost trust in this institution, and they make mention of the judgments we've been come out in court after the 2018 election where them be replaced 10 MPs them from the opposition All People's Congress and send people in our parliament who they not been run any election for again. Well, the spokesman for the judiciary in the studio this morning, Elkas Sano, na the head of communications na the judiciary. Good morning once more and welcome to Good Morning Salon.
Good morning. Happy for the
All right, I guess the judiciary don't see the release where the EU mission pull after we don't pull about 29 recommendations into government after the 2018 elections. And the judiciary has stated earlier now one pan the institution them we Salon people currently from waiting them fair not satisfied with what they do and then they lost trust in the judiciary. Firstly, how I receive that kind of recommendation they wouldn't indict on an institution?
That's not a recommendation, my findings. When we read the press release, we admit, say, indeed, EU don't they work with Sierra Leone, that we must admit that, over the years, and the relationship don't continue and they still continue. We get concerns. Among the many concerns them, what we look at, now that we get the conviction say the EU report is not being technical and not professional.
Why una get that concern?
Fine, because EU go outside the required scope of mandate.
Waiting at the required scope of mandate.
Now, when they come, firstly, you get for know they say the people that we then speak to, then express opinion. They say to them the trust in the judiciary don't decrease, not only in the judiciary with some other institutions. Then even the reference, the provision, the reference that they make to the very act was not only misinforming, it was also inaccurate.
Why you say so?
Now that's at the camp. Then best practice, they always say, when you want to come out with the findings everywhere under the wall, especially when you want to indict a particular institution, they engage them. We get what they call management response. Then from there, then you hear them, then opinion, then view on that particular indictment or that particular findings where you don't do.
Mr. Sano, you just make mention of best practice. Under best practice,
I wish
where
you
you
go
talk
allow
about. Under the same best practice where you talk about. Any of the best practices them where they refer to, say in mandatory for any mission where they can do findings in any country, for engage the institution where then they can do them findings, but?
Yes. My brother Marawi Sidoya just don't allude to that. Say, when you come, waiting a form and impartial and unbiased findings where you do or report based on the data where you don't get. Now, because you talk to the people who matter. But and at the camp, among the people who matter, now experts there.
But you are aware that it's not a follow-up. You are aware that it's not a follow-up based on waiting.
So assuming this is a follow-up, you get for no first to which period. In fact, for make and vague, they not even state to which period.
So now that's the judiciary they work for. That's they work for.
The judiciary, they serve the people of
So waiting bad if they can ask the people who are the serve.
We are not
questions where they want answers to.
You know, we are not averse to talking to people. Seek the opinion of different people. But now, for no say the data unverified, you don't even know that people are talking.
Mr. Sano, all the issues where the EU puts inside this recommendation.
They're not even able to tell you the source of the data.
Sano, all the issues there, so you self go agree say not all issues that were new, just like what I asked Mr. Mara earlier. Now issues this where you self don't sit down at the studio. I remember the last day with Mr. Mara, when they call out the judiciary, they point out to some of the issues there where activists then believe say they're wrong. You don't care back once, you don't can defend them. And are just the same things them the EU puts, nothing no different.
No, a lot of difference then there.
What's the difference there?
The EU wrongly presents to the public an inaccurate provision of the law where they make reference to, where they say they use for pool 10 of the members of parliament.
That did not ever happen.
The statement is not only fallacious,
but they not pool members of parliament there.
Based on fine. Please allow me my answer this sire. What exactly happened? There is a precedent in 2012-2013. This precedent by the High Court. At that time, the APC been there na governance. Now, what happened? The SLPP, the constituency 05, constituency 015, members of candidates where they present for members of parliament, when Ansu Lansana and Captain retired Afiju Kanja. Now, them people, the court order say make them give them position to the second person.
No, that's
at
not
the camp.
correct. That's not correct.
Will they come to you, Mr. Mara? Will they come to you? Let's just land. Will they come to you?
Now, how it happened? Them go na court. When them go na court, the Ansu Lansana, when are the candidate for SLPP, then with the candidate for the two candidates then for SLPP, Ansu Lansana and Afiju.
Right.
Then win the elections. When they win the elections, what may happen exactly now that NEC, the other NEC for stop the election
so now that
process.
precedence on Afala.
No, wait, say now. That the precedent where they now that they may not already pull High Court get a precedent.
Okay.
Where they may not pull people where the second person now in and give the very position. So the same High Court, when they give a ruling, they not depart from that 2012 judgment day where High Court give. They not depart from it.
Right.
So it becomes a precedent. And what thing happen exactly? We not averse also to the very fact say when a High Court don't give ruling, you know, you get the upper court when at the court of appeal. You get right for going at the appeals court. When they go na appeals court, they abandon the case. They not continue the matter.
Continue for the between at the studio. Elkas Sano, head of communications now the judiciary. We'll come back to you. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue with a commercial break and continue for look at more issues.
Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody elect you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office elect you not get the account number. Buy Ed-Salite, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for we boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store or go to Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
All right, we continue with the program. Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. When they look at more issues them inside the program this morning, the Salon National Fire Force, now unit under the security sector, we get the mandate for do research and rescue fire incidents then we can happen. Now different parts them in the country. Well, for make them able for reach out to more community for address fire incidents them. Now that's make the National Fire Force been go open one substation. Now Rokel na the Western Area Rural District, outside the Chief Fire Officer na the National Fire Force, Nazir Ahmed Ali Kamanda Bonge say, from where this year begin to now, they don't record over 1,000 fire case them, outside they be able to rescue plenty people during their outbreak here. Cherno Jalo gets more and he gonna report.
I now have the honor and privilege on behalf of His Excellency, Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Madabiu, to officially commission the Western Aerial Fire Station of Simatown, Rokel.
Now, so the Minister of Internal Affairs, David Pandanoa, been the commission a new fire force substation at Simatown inside Rokel, and the Western Area Rural District. This new substation with the National Fire Force open at Rokel get administrative building, clinic, fire engine, and plenty other facility them. Where this go make them easy for the fire force officer and for respond to any fire outbreak we go happen at the Western Area Rural District quick one. When we talk about how they come about for opening this substation, the Minister of Internal Affairs, David Pandanoa, said this is a part of President BA manifesto promise for tap the kind of challenge the Modi National Fire Force on the go to go.
The job is highly demanding and risky as death and or injury as part of the game. Therefore, members of the public, courts attacking firefighters or perpetrating violence will face the full force of the law. The National Fire Force has been the most neglected security sector component. In his statement on the state opening held on Thursday, the 2nd May 2019, our beloved President stated on paragraph 236 regarding the Fire Force, government commended the construction of 4 fire stations in Western Rural, Kailahun, Pujehun, and Kabbalah. Cabinet has also endorsed the fire safety bill and will soon submit same to the House of Parliament to enact.
Inside you talk the Chief Fire Officer and the National Fire Force, Nazir Ahmed Ali Kamanda Bonge, say apart from the 4 fire stations the government don't build inside the past 3 years, then same so don't sign agreement for build 3 other substation them, na put Loko, Bond, and Tonkolili district, for make fire officer them go able to respond to fire outbreak. Quick one other part of the country then they.
It is pleasing to realize that the Kailaon Fire Station was commissioned last year by His Excellency. Pujeon and Kabbalah Fire Station have been completed and are awaiting commissioning. And today, we are commissioning this station. Just under 2 months, the government have signed the agreement for the procurement of additional firefighting engines and additional auxiliary firefighting equipment, including spear pads. Firefighters are now much more protected with adequate and quality protective clothing, giving us the advantage to enter into building much more easy with more vigor and bravery. The agreement for the supply of rice to firefighters have been signed.
In continuity with all them progress here, what the National Fire Force don't make, but say then still they face plenty other challenge them what they want to make government look inside quick one.
Our response to fire calls are always spontaneous, but our effort most time is frustrated by the increased volume of vehicular traffic and human traffic. Houses built in these communities are congested with few or no access road, which impede our effort to get to these places faster. Therefore, using this podium to appeal to the Minister of Housing and Country Planning to emphasize on the importance of access road to these places for fire safety measures. Mr. Minister, sir, we have noted with concern that land grabbers have started damaging this piece of land here at Simatown.
The Western Area Rural District. Now the council will host this new fire force substation. Will this make the deputy chairman at the council, Robert Brown, say the step by government to open this substation now will kill a good step, but also call on government for bringing more other fire stations in the Western Area Rural District.
We are in anticipation in seeing that the monies that are sent into council for the National Fire Force, Mr. Minister, that is not commensurate to the work that this particular office is doing within the district. Looking at it, we are just having 1 point here, which is not enough for us in the Western Area Rural District. Because looking at it, we have York area. If we only have 1 fire engine, it is not enough, as the district is so big that they can't reach other parts of this particular district. We are appealing this day that you try with others within that cadre to see that we have enough firefighters and also the necessary equipment that is needed so that we can meet up to the task.
The deputy chairman at the Western Area Rural District, Robert Brown, end up assure the National Fire Force say them as council go ensure say them support the Fire Force officer them for ensure say they will do the work proper one. For the Society for Radio Democracy, me, Nacheng Nojalo, the report.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and from that report the Chair Nojalo put together, we come back to the studio guest them. As now the program this morning, we did discuss the findings them where the EU we don't pull for SECA the follow-up we then do after them we don't make recommendations them to institutions them we suppose for support free and fair election at the country. And earlier we'll be listening to Elka Sano from the judiciary. They come over now to the other studio guest. We na Sori Sembe Mara in na well an advocate, he don't advocate of Panenka issues, yeah, human rights and other thing them. And also he happen for be a lawyer. Where we be the listen earlier where Elka Sano be the talk. The part pan the Public Elections Act where the EU follow-up mission then cite out where na section 146.4 of the Public Elections Act where talk say if they don't declare an election void, another election for be held for let you get the people in we for replace the one them way they don't declare void na that particular place. And according to Elkas Sanowe, Commander of the Judiciary, it said this particular section where they cite out a deceiving and not to true. You're not a lawyer. What you go say to this particular section where they cite out and the decision where the judiciary been take that same day?
Yeah, maybe I think earlier when we talk, I mentioned say in 2019, exactly 31st day of May 2019, we put out a statement where we cite that very same section, right? It says that section 146 subsection 4 of the said Public Elections Act mandates that if the election is declared void, another election shall be held. Right? So the correct section.
But
And
Mr. Sanowe,
and I think
mention
it's
of a precedent where say they don't happen and the same high courts.
not to the same circumstances. In fact, in that case, they na be SLPP. Right? One SLPP candidate way they not give symbol, being Ansu Lansana kind of court, say you not qualify for run the election. The court slam an injunction before the election. Unfortunately, NEC be don't print the ballot papers them. Ansu Lansana in name in the ballot papers. So when they go vote for him, quite clearly they get injunction, so they not for don't vote for themselves. So all them votes away them vote for him, then void them. As an activist, as a governance activist, I not believe that judgment day. The same way I not believe the judgment of 2019. I not believe that judgment day. Right? But for like you can say na the very same thing happen. No. There was an injunction before the election. So the court merely say this person not for the election at all. Because we not injunct them. So then void in votes them. This is different from this where NEC be not declare them people here. They be not take seats in a parliament. They be not begin participate in a parliament before they were thrown out. Or NEC be not declaring. They were about to be sworn in before they were thrown out. So not to the same at all. In that matter, they have been SLPP and SLPP. But like I said, not to judgment that anyway I think say be even good for a democracy as well. But for put them on the same pedestal as this one, it's wrong. And I think say it's very worrying as a nation where we don't begin argue with the institutions the way they help with elections. EU, we all know. Your election can EU they help with. And EU missions them in terms of the integrity standards are really high, right? Although I'm in a possible way of neo-colonial influence on the sovereign nation, but I tell you what, them mission and them findings here, then they talk to the people of Sierra Leone. And at the end of the day, the people of Sierra Leone, any judiciary they serve, if the people and say, no, we trust Pana institution, don't go down. I don't think say the judiciary for the argue with EU.
Because at that time, me concern when they ask Elkas just to say if then they work for the people them, then somebody ask the people them where they work for, tell them how then they feel. Then when I get issues with them, and according to them, it say the EU not been go specifically to them for go ask them. And you na person we don't follow them kind of governance issues here. There was a need for let EU go back to the institution after you don't talk to the people and where they work for.
And no, maybe that EU they talk to a number of governance experts. I want possibly they reach out, but because get boku tight schedule, we not be able to hold the meeting, right? So I know say them talk to a number of other people we credible. We're not to partisan people at all. We're able to look at issues them objectively and assess the situation. Pass no more Mr. Sanowe one for question with expertise, right? But I know say EU not the sit at the desk, na Brussels, and then write a report. Then depend on actors on the ground who are Sierra Leoneans, where they speak to Sierra Leone and experts them. And mind you, not so EU first can pull this report. I don't reference to a press release where we pull in 2019. That we press release is stronger past EU.
So at this point, Mr. Sanowe, Dana Studio, they try to make a case for the judiciary. One, they make mention of best practices. The EU team will come. According to them, they not be engaged in, but then talk to the people of Sierra Leone. When then the judiciary they work for. At this point, all the issues them inside the press release. All the issues them inside the press release. Where them put, they outline different AMBs. They went at the election management body them. Now, this for try for justify or na attempt for let them go back to the drawing board because their issues they are so like I say activists they like una, don't they point out and they call the institution they are out, justifying some of them things they are timely on a time for go back to the drawing board.
I think say wrong for the institution, once you get findings them, we're not favorable, I think it's wrong for you begin to justify or argue back. What you can do, we get about 2 years to the 2023 election. What you can do as an institution, I for go back and say, usa relapses and then say decrease in trust in the institution. How can we be a trustworthy institution? How much we can able for improve we operations so that the people of Sierra Leone can believe we as an institution. And I think, say, much as I mentioned, say it's worrying all of this way EU don't document, but also note the fact that if all the findings here are taken in very good part, the institutions here can able for launder the image significantly towards the 2023 election. But waiting bad, and for later institutions here begin to argue and justify. Because mind you, quite apart from the EU, recently they published the World Justice Report, for example, Salon drop many places. It drop. So consistent with what in the EU they say, consistent with what in the National Elections Watch, then statement, then talk about Togri, then talk about Usai minister go smash, waiting, vandalize, etc., etc. This is not to EU. These are our own Salon brothers and sisters. We observe the election. And I know Marcella, I know the kind of work they do. Then they make sure say they're going to the last mile of this country. So this is not only EU. This validates what we all don't say. Say the institutions here get for work for with democracy. Because they now will depend on democracy, not to individuals. Democracy in institutions.
All right, continue for day with me na the program. In name na Augustine so Isengbe Marana, activist, and today na the program where they look inside recommendation then where the EU election observation mission out after the follow-up work we then do some of the recommendation of them pool. When they take commercial break, we'll come back, we can talk to the head of communications from the Salon Judiciary as now one part the institution them where the EU be indicts na the report.
Because money easy for loss, like how it easy for broke egg. You save not for life you couple business, so people they will not sabi, and one day we get ben. Union Trust Bank get all the correct and master sabi people them for help make you couple better. We na Union Trust Bank, team up tiganga, so your money go fine with no wahala, and you no go get we kind service no other side. Make good use of we SMS alert where they show you your money transaction. Enjoy the internet banking services for check your accounts. Safe, you can visit our website on www.utb.sl for no more, but we order plenty products and service them. Now Union Trust Bank, excellence now it's on card. Union Trust Bank, the force and true Salomon Bank.
All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. Where they bring the program come to you this Monday morning. My name is Khadija Bangora.
And Mabel Kaba.
We still get Elkas Sano, the head of communications, na the Salon Judiciary with we at the studios. As today we look at the press release where the EU election follow-up mission been pulled on Friday after where them be engaged different people for know if stakeholder them don't implement some kind of recommendation they would be make immediately after the 2018 elections. And inside this press release, when them pull them been put them findings them outside and state different institutions where they part of the election stakeholder then say Salon people don't they lost trust pan them and the judiciary in a one. Now that's make who gets the head of the communications from the Salon Judiciary where they try for talk about somebody thinks them where the EU put inside them press release. Mr. Sano earlier, we they try for talk about the section where the EU been cite we get for do the elections acts, and according to you that will not be appropriate. Luckily we get a lawyer in the studio where they serve as an activist as well. INSEF just refer to the same section, and inside a press release where the Renaissance movement been pulled, and the same section then been cited. So outside the wrong the way according to you is say the EU been do for cite that particular section then at the Elections Act.
We kindly ask that una no interject and allow me like the same time una give Mara so that I will educate and set the record straight.
In as much as you educate,
please.
Who self get right for the ask
yes,
questions.
but you know for the interject persistently.
So you already there into your time now. So
where
respond
they
to the
make the
questions,
public not
please.
able to understand the information we want to share with
Go
them.
ahead, Mr.
We're very
Simon.
much important. Now, tell una say the EU go outside the scope of mandate. I don't reiterate that. Waiting I mean by that. When the EU come, then get a mandate when a follow-up mission. And that follow-up mission where EU come on, now for can follow up on the 2018 recommendations, 29 recommendations, whether in fact the country don't adhere to those recommendations. But not to for comment on judiciary, not to for comment on police, not to for comment on NEC. They go outside the scope of mandate. That is very much undisputed. Moving forward, tell una also say the EU go further for make inaccurate reference to the Public Elections Act and even misinform the public.
So also now accurate information.
Yes. Now
what's accurate for you?
The elections were never declared void by the judges. Then elections there. They were never declared void because then the NEC declared them as winners. So that's complete misrepresentation of the truth. You understand?
So
contrary to the statement claims by waiting and see.
So when NEC, you said don't say NEC declare them as winners, why una go change that decision in a court?
Because waiting there before the court, then the court they look at. The court no they talk on waiting no day before the court. Waiting there before the court, the people in petition say there were the grave concern, irregularities. And they come, if you can allow me. Out of those irregularities where them raise a lot of issues them where they raise. At the end of the day, like where I tell una say in 2012, like where Mara they say na been between SLPP and SLPP. Yes, na been between SLPP and SLPP.
No,
but waiting
apart from that precedent, the way they cite so. That bring you back. It's like misunderstanding they with which you talk and waiting they inside the EU recommendation them. I don't know if you're able to go through them. Yeah. Waiting the EU they try for say after when they don't declare their election they are so void, then go to court with petition. The court they issue where they get then cites the Public Elections Act 146.
I don't even want me you end because they were not declared void. It's misinforming. Now the fact them I want more we set out to the public.
The same fact that they try
so for even court EU.
People they understand.
Yes, but for court EU say then declare void, they were not declared void. That is a complete misrepresentation of the truth.
Recommendation in the talk about.
Yes.
Now the second runner up where the High Court decision declare say let them go assume the seats and the constituency the EU they talk about not all the decision for declare the seat them void.
Now that the same thing EU say according to them they say that provision where they cite where they state it say when they don't declare void
then for all another election.
And in this case when make us say now wrong provision they make reference to because they were not declared void. They were never declared void. Yes, fine. Now, waiting. The court do for follow the same precedent where the court been set. Waiting and do instead. Then for don't the same court for don't say okay. Go do elections like what it been happen. Where Mara the same talk 2012. Go do elections for again or rerun elections. When they do rerun elections, then the person will win, maybe they will declare a winner. But in this case, what the court been doing in 2012, automatically they order the second person when have been the APC candidate. Now in the order for say for assume that position. So automatically the second person where the person can say when have been the APC candidate, now it automatically become the member of parliament for constituency 05 and constituency 015. Okay. The same precedent will happen. Now the same thing will happen.
So for put this matter to rest, now the same thing una self do, right? the thing will be happen. Now the same precedents.
Now the same precedent the court decide for Fala.
All right.
But for say this particular thing is this way where they say then declare void and there should be rerun. That not the
so the
complete
back and forth,
misinformation.
All of this,
the
back and forth in all of this, the fact is they say, una replace the people when neck be don't declare winner. So you know necessarily means say then go for declare say here is empty. Una put people in there because una don't pull the one the way been did it. And when you don't pull somebody, you know void. When you don't pull somebody for put other person. You know void?
No, I make you understand. Make you understand something. Now, for example,
Ansu
Lansana lost in win in case na court. He win the case na court. Ansu Lansana. When he win in case na court, at the end of the day, even though he win the case na court, because they come with an accord. At the end of the day, you even win the elections because they're in stronghold, but still the court not even say men.
I think maybe
so for move forward,
yes.
the judiciary regrets in all of this. The judiciary regrets with that decision they will have been taken with all the concerns we come after that. Una get any regrets? So we want for move forward.
No, the judiciary not get regrets because with my camp. Because when as long as not a precedent,
right.
Then go follow except.
This same precedent, Mr. Sanona, one way plenty people been criticized and then they say not to be the right thing, the courts been do that particular. Now you say that then same precedent then they una use for then 10 member of parliament then they, which means una use bad precedents then where activists then 10 then they don't criticize say it's not supposed to happen, it's not good for a salon democracy.
The very fact that they not set up, not a bad precedent. Now, in the opinion, we know they are for play political gimmicks. We there for make sure so we inform the public them as to the actual thing where they happen when they
politician.
I just want to say something. You understand? Now, Mara make some statement then we're not correct, we're misinforming as well. It don't mean say across the wall, when people in the camp with a report, when researchers in the camp with report, then they disagree with those reports.
All right. And
when you disagree with those reports, no mean say you institutions they against them work. But what you disagree with, you disagree with the very content, with the very procedure where they use, the very data, very much unverified. You therefore raise concerns. Like for example, you don't know the people where you talk to. We don't know the people how they come up with those unverified data.
Right.
So these are all concerns where they raise for able to make sure you do the thing where go stand the test of time.
Not of
just go make report because you want to make report. And one thing I want to make family also know now that SLPP this petition where they talk about SLPP lost 11 of them petitions there. SLPP also petition 11.
All right, Mr.
Sano.
You understand?
Thank you.
11 of the very
quickly one take commercial break, but before they say the commercial break, I see you they talk say EU go out of the scope. So then lie the thing away them put lie on the judiciary.
If the
now lie powna, whether or not they inside the scope, now lie powna. No, just explain let the people understand the lie.
Yes.
Okay, continue for the between the studio. Let me take commercial break, please.
Una picking for discharge today, but una not pay the money yet.
Doctor, give me your number. I don't send them.
Alex, I don't give you the number for send hour in fees.
I don't send them.
How much the big bag is?
Na 320,000.
I not get the full cash now.
Na for Senam.
Senam? What are the Senam where all man they talk about?
You late for your Rio Mary. Senam na go call the Ecopo service. This one fast pass to simple. With the Ecopo, you go send and receive money to anybody, any sign a salon, simple one. The person no need forget bank account or internet. Even if na bouncing phone you get, it go receive and cash money, easy one. With the Ecopo, you go buy something, any sign a salon, and the person will go buy, go cash am simple one. You go use Ecopo, any side where you see this sticker. With the go call bank, mobile banking, just don't easy. Ecopo, Senam.
GhanaSongs.org.
They causing confusion.
But this confused me, boo. Look where Uncle Nat in World Solid. Look in block them where them beat for them, where they save solid. And at the same amount of cement and sand that they use for beat me on. But look what in the happen. Me wall down for them, all the block they all don't scatter. It like say some kind of magic they behind this. You want to know the magic behind this? Now the superior quality, extra strong, extra life and extra yield cement where are they use. And that's not Dangote 3X Portland limestone cement. Dangote cement now the highest grade cement in the country. When a 42.5 R grade cement, when no one day come na this country, and a one of the highest grade pan cement where you go get na the wall. Where you want your concrete, wall and block solid, use Dangote 42.5 R cement, you no go regret them. You go get Dangote 42.5 R cement na all the shop and building material store na the one whole country.
All right, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue with a look at one pound with headline story them. Usai, the Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo, don't call on civil society organization them for the monitor service delivery in a local council and government for improve the life of salon people them. It took this inside one meeting with civil society organization they all with local council, government and then partner them for talk about service delivery and the work with civil society they do for all government accountable on service delivery. For more on this, Musa Kamarago reports.
Decentralization for effective service delivery. Now the theme for the meeting between civil society, local council, government and non-state actors with the old Inseput local. The Local Government Act of 2004 bring decentralization process na the country for effective service delivery. We make civil society, non-state actor, government and partner them don't meet na put local for see how they go give strength to service delivery and decentralization. Ambassador Fode Yumkela, na the Minister for Political and Public Affairs, talk about the importance of decentralization process for effective service delivery.
The decentralization process was reintroduced in Sierra Leone with the enactment of the Local Act of 2004, which provided for the devolution of various functions, personnel, and finance to local councils, with the overall objective of enabling local councils to play a crucial role in the delivery of services and in national development. This gathering here this morning will agree with me that there still exists what could be described as existing concentration of government business at the central level. The theme for today's dialogue, decentralization for effective service delivery, will serve as a reminder for CSOs, development partners and government to continue taking decisive steps towards the devolution process.
Fode Basisware, now the Executive Director of Civil Society Rep inside this meeting, and now the person we talk for civil society them inside this meeting. Even though he say government don't make effort for improved service delivery in different sectors them na society, but believe say governments for pay attention to some panditin them where he believe say they ambog people na society, like the increase in price, the depreciation of loans, and also other thing them where he thinks say very much important.
Depreciation of the loan against international currency like the US dollar and the pound, and the continued increase in the prices of basic commodities, especially rice. Political violence and integrity of our electoral process. For instance, the recent incident in Kwenedugu might be regarded as insignificant, but it should not be ignored. It should be a cause for all of us. So, Honorable Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hope as a civil society organization that this engagement will continue to receive highest political will to take into action all that we discussed here today for the good of our people. For our civil society leaders, this space has been provided for us. Let's seize this space. Let's run with this. Let's don't wait until next October before we come again and dialogue with government.
As he talked about the work where the ministry don't they do for improve local governance, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Tamba Lamina, say section head na different ministries, departments and agency them for be accountable to local council that the different locality them where they implement development program them.
We want to appeal as a ministry to all other ministries to work in tandem with the Ministry of Local Government in ensuring that sector heads attend meetings and not their representatives. and they should be accountable to local councils first before their accountability to their ministries. Because if we talk about decentralization and local service delivery, the services to be delivered are for the local, and therefore political entities in those areas, which is the local council, have a pivotal role in directing government programs within those.
The European Union don't they support Salone at different area them, especially in the area of governance. We make the acting head of corporations na the European Union, Serena Batina, say the mission they work tranga one with local council for support decentralization na the country.
European Union, we are pleased to have associated ourselves with the process of strengthening decentralization in Sierra Leone. Through our ongoing program, we've made available over 300 billion leones to support civil society organizations and local authorities partnering together for local development. EU-funded program nowadays support 11 local councils, and I recognize the representative here today. And we are honored to have been able to partner with 5 civil society organizations international in doing so. Our different actions seek to support these critical actors by strengthening their human, technical, and financial capacity.
The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo, talk about the actions the we government don't take for improved service delivery, especially in the education sector, where governments don't make priority and don't put cup up on.
This is a government that have invested and continue to invest in critical areas. One is education. Today, Sierra Leone stands as one of the top 5 countries across the continent that is investing heavily in education. We are taking 22% of the budget, put it into education. Today, we are providing free quality education for 2.6 million kids across the country. We pay fees subsidies, we buy books. In some areas, we provide transportation. In some vulnerable communities, we provide feed. This is critical, and government will want to understand some of the vital things that are going to affect delivery of free quality education.
As Chairman Interministerial Council on Local Governance, the Vice President called on civil society and on state actors and other partner them for monitor service delivery na government and local council level for CC. Government projects them benefit the right people within the implement and for.
Our brother from Actuate spoke about the problematic dynamics around the disbursement of funds from central government to the council. Just recently, I read in the Awoko newspaper that the Makeni City Council mobilized, were able to increase their revenue by 3 billion leones. So it shows that councils have the capacity to generate revenue. Why I am making reference to this is that government transfers alone are not enough to get councils to do what they want to do. We have to be innovative and creative about building strategies to generate revenue. So if the Makeni City Council pride itself to generate 3 billion leones, and when you look at the population dynamics, I think both council and Kenema should produce to generate more. So this is where civil society need to help us to unravel some of these intricacies. We don't know everything. That no any council that just depend entirely on government transfer to do all what you want to do will be very difficult. This is a discourse that we need to hold so that we are going to be frank about service delivery and the role of councils in service delivery. We need to build partnership with civil society to help us unravel some of these intricacies. How can these councils perform like the Makeni City Council?
This meeting na one way the Vice President hope say go continue between civil society and government and say they implement thing them where them go down agree inside this meeting and civil society continue for play their role for monitor government program and same way so support the implementation of development program them na local level and monitor revenue generation and expenditure with support from Mange Mansare for the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa Kamara.
All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. We look at more issues them inside the program this morning, and now they go inside education as now one party team them working develop any country. For sake of this, some executive them na the All People's Congress APC party within alumni in a constituency 132 bingo give book learning material them to school picking them wait up na that community day. For sake of that, the 2018 election presidential candidate for the APC party, Dr. Samura Kamara, say e go find way for find scholarship for picking them where they do well in school so that they self go continue with them book learning. Usman Kamara gets more and he go now report.
My Sierra Leone, my responsibility. Now the slogan where the 2018 presidential candidate for the APC party inside the 2018 election, Dr. Samura Kamara can use plenty side him where he can go. And he be use this same slogan. Now Lombli community the term where some APC executive and member them go give book learning material them to school picking them with tap na Lombli. But first, make we listen to Ibrahim Taribo Kamara, when are the chairman for the APC party na Lombli, constituency 132, for no, almost picking the benefit from this support.
We as constituency executive in collaboration with all of the aspirants the way we get to this course, we decide for do a scheme so that we will help them in planning. We believe say we party where we did when at the All People's Congress believe in education. This is now the second phase of it. The first one we been do over 150. Now this way we do now we target over 200 picking them and the picking the way we target now picking the way they now with constituency now Lombli we pull it all over the constituency each corner now Lombli we take one picking day for make we can gain this benefit. How we go about forget them picking the ASU? First of all, we target the less privileged people.
According to Ibrahim Taribo Kamara, chairman for the APC party na Lombli, constituency 132 carry on say, even though na APC business, but say they not mix politics and book learning, and this support cost over 42 million leones.
We not look for party, we look for community where we born. We believe say anybody within this constituency now we responsibility as executive and as party for take care of them. So we not pick say you dey APC, you dey SLPPO. The total money what we spend for do this thing is about 42 million. Them money they are now we as executive and then we aspirant they are where they vow for symbol. And we present councillors the way we get. We don't work very well at this constituency for see that. For say, come 2023, we deliver these seats for the All People's Congress. Now we all put we money together.
We immediately talk for sake of this support. One part the people that will support this process, Mahmoud Kamara, we people can call Mr. Nice Guy, say they as member them ready for support anything we get for do with book learning business.
The constituency, through the wisdom of the constituency chairman, when I Ibrahim Taribo Kamara, I don't make an habit now, year in, year out, for give donation to school going people's there. So basically the constituency began for camp say they need for do this donation this year. And looking at the challenge where the constituency they go through, so I began for step in. So I be able for support the constituency with 5 million euros for ensure say the ceremony go on. This ceremony is very important because it give hope to the less privileged them. Because we know the constraints where some of them face. Some they go school, not get decent bag, decent shoe and all that. So with this package, it will actually help for transform and make them easy for the parents then. Definitely this is a project where the constituency chairman, they don't look forward to make them at a bigger scale. And when that planning come up, where they present it to we again, definitely we go ready for come in and support the constituency.
Inside this ceremony, Dr. Samura Kamara na the keynote speaker. Inside his statement, he say, he ready for give scholarship to picking them where they do well pan and book learning business.
My Sierra Leone, my responsibility. My responsibility is my Sierra Leone. So the responsibility of this place for tomorrow, now I don't turn like me. Now I'm responsible. But the only way I go able to perform, now for begin do now good well. If I do very well in school, who don't want to fail? Nobody not go fail, not so. This year, I go tell Chairman Taribo, like give me all the results from my local art today. Would I do well with the first scholarship for that? Or go from one class to the other class. If you continue for do well, now so they enjoy the scholarship, till you go secondary school, so they pay for you. But for promise me, say, I continue for do well.
Dr. Samura Kamara Simwe so say, because of better attention, knocking deep on some picking them during the term where they go school, make plenty for them, not able done school. We make a call on parents them for look after them picking them.
When they look them picking there, we they watch them how then they grow. We they support them how then they grow. Now big challenge now we hate. Not to follow put them no more and school the lands book done. They don't get hope. So they're not able done the format school. That's the end. No, we as parents, we get the responsibility for make sure say we give best attention to school picking them. Picking them very, very important. We get a big responsibility because now that why would they build the country for? We the big one there. We get for left Sierra Leone now the hand. I want let all man get that at the back of his mind. Nobody know they can't make this country for you.
Dr. Samuel Kamara end up calling member them na the APC party na Lombly for respect the rule of law and say now one party team them we go make this country go before. For the Society for Ready Democracy, Mina Usman Kamara, the reports.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and from the reports we come back to we studio guest them. We come over to Sori Sembe Mara. We also get El Kasano from the judiciary. We don't look at the issues we get for do with findings where the EU election follow-up mission been pulled last week Friday, and as we continue the discussion, we know saying at different institutions them they indict this report and waiting need for be done. Now over to you, Mr. Mara. As we don't say since the program starts, you don't follow up issues of governance. Today we often forget the head of the communications units now judiciary, and it don't talk about waiting the judiciary feel and how they take this particular findings. But moving forward, the other institutions and the way they indict, we get the police, we expect them, but we'll not see them at the program. We also get the National Electoral Commission, NEC, and other body them. But for the judiciary, for example, if you talk to the one them way na the management team na the judiciary, we get the Chief Justice Day and other people them regarding the team them where this particular findings here so pull na do. What thing you go say to the judiciary in terms of moving forward with the approach to 2023 elections and people they lost trust in institutions them we supposed to forgive people them justice, for example. If it happened for me to the Chief Justice at this stage, after then kind findings here, what thing you go say to them?
Maybe I have to say this before I respond to your question very quickly. So in terms of the decision in 2012, the High Court gets a number of principles. But for example, if the High Court give judgment, you know they bind other High Courts. So other High Courts sitting, whether on the same issue, can depart from that judgment. So that issue of precedent, no, they apply at the High Court at all. And I'm aware that, for example, in petitions, the appeals, within lodged at the Court of Appeal, the lawyers then don't file a case at the Supreme Court. So they don't actually abandon the appeal. They don't go now to Supreme Court for let Supreme Court determine and interpret certain sections in there, right? And I think say also significant for note say when Mr. Sanomi they talk about they not void the election or they annul the election. They annul the election, and the act say, well, we not get problem with the judiciary annul the election. Apart of the mandate for look at irregularities, them, etc., and then determine whether the election was properly conducted. Then can annul and can void. But the law say we void. Make fresh elections. And at that issue day, EU and we self, as governance activists, and non take with that approach the way you void, and then you say the second person for go occupy. And the 2012 situation different significantly from what happened in 2019. So you think
say that decision they from the High Court then they for declare the second one out for go assume the seats in a parliament be wrong?
Be wrong. And in fact, the very words as chairman then, very strong words. Said that the movement has not found any legal justification, statutory or judicial precedent for such a declaration by the High Court. So it was wrong on all fours. The same way we say in 2012, waiting the High Court's been do, the same way we say in 2012, say it was wrong. Equally in 2019, it was wrong as well. And I think say with governance, we not for the continue, we not forget successive wrongs. We forget a point where one regime they can begin do the things the way right. Over to you, Mabel. I think say my simple message to the Chief Justice would be, the Lord Chief Justice would be that justice not for be political.
All right.
Justice for serve every facet of people. You know, find where one regime dey na power. If you like say, na then case they go before, na then case no more, they become victorious. We won't forget a justice system we apply to every regime. And democracy is such that the opposition, while in opposition, democracy is such that the opposition should not be bullied, whether na court or outside the court. That's a democracy.
So the judiciary at this stage, you go safely say they're independent and able to work as an independent body without any involvement of political, be it political or personal.
But maybe beyond me own word, EU reports, World Justice Report, all them successive reports, anytime when them pull reports, now two institutions and go in at the spotlight, police, judiciary. I don't think say the people of Sierra Leone in full. I don't think say we ate two institutions. If you put now a ballot, then go tell you say, for example, audit service, now one institution where they do well. No, but not so like say we lack audit service past all institutions, because we know consistently anytime when them pull a report, then they speak truth. But we not say the judiciary and the police, all the reports every time, police, judiciary. We not think say the institutions here we not lack.
Right,
now because waiting the people of Sierra Leone, they go through the institutions on a daily basis. Believe you me, you know one for Gona police. The other day I gonna some detention. I tell me a junior colleague and say, you know one for put you fall na police cell. You fall. In a democracy like this, human rights of people should be respected. Who say they keep themselves in detention should be very, very decent. And I don't think certain two institutions don't do enough since the TIC report to date. Consistent indictment.
All right. Quickly, let me bring you to the area of NEC. Now, one of the election stakeholders, them where the EU be indicts that them press release. NEC the mandates now for conduct free, fair, and credible elections. Salon just they approach the 2022-2023 elections, and such kind reports they come out from the EU. Everybody know the kind support where EU don't they give for ensure say Salon democracy continue for thrive. Or don't they see concerns don't they come out from political party them? I can give COP as an example where na alliance of political party they don't they complain about appointments of NEC commissioners, they don't they complain about the systems na NEC and everything. And with this EU, their own indictment on NEC. What do you think say going ahead to the elections, this mean to Salon democracy? We'll talk about free and fair elections.
I think, Khadija, to be honest with you, if there is any institution where the people of Sierra Leone for lost trust in NEC, and then they form the bedrock of we democracy. There is no democracy without elections. Elections, now in fact, now they make democracy work. So I think it's very important for all not play with NEC in work. But sadly, for example, during the appointment of the NEC boss, I know say there were a number of disagreements by the other opposition groups, say they were not consulted. Right? Before that, there was an election of, I don't know whether it's Commissioner Edmond Alpha. Also, I remember that name quite clearly because I think I may get business around bank complex. I think the APC members of parliament, they walked out of parliament then day. So you get the head, you get one commissioner. The latest appointment, for some personal reasons, I can't comment on them, right? But consistently, they tell you, say, this institution where na the lifeblood of we democracy, elections, they're so important. And if we think say they're not important, not think about Kenya in 2007, then post-election violence, we want for rip the nation their parts. So the people of Sierra Leone, if they lost trust by any institution, at least let NEC continue for be the institution where the people of Sierra Leone they trust. But if political parties then get problem with the appointments of commissioners, etc., I think say worrying. When you pull a press release, why read them? If feel like you they read some horror fiction. You talk about incidents, about disruption of voting process, running away with ballot papers, vandalization of vehicles. I say, na 1980 we there, na 1990s we there, in the 2000s, after all the resources the way they don't put per neck, where they don't put by other integrity institutions and for make with democracy. Now in today, somebody go can take ballot paper and run with them. Somebody go can a polling station, he can burn the polling station and ballot materials them. Okay, you don't pull this press release. Me self tweet bottom. Learn neck in responsibility now for come out and address them concerns here. And say one, what you say na the reports not to true. This not happen, this not happen. But from the, I think the 4th day of October to the 1st day of November, we not don't get any serious response to all
set
them.
Up a committee where they be promising them will come out soon with them.
But again, EU not say the same way they delay justice, for delay democracy.
We actually go for count with neck for look at some of
Oh,
the
yes.
issues there and
Oh, yes.
indictments we come and all of that. But many thanks to you can at the program this morning. So you say, let's come over to Elkas Sano. They try to wrap up the program, but with all the discussions so we don't get there this morning. As an institution, the judiciary, waiting on the plan for regain the trust of Salon people, especially ahead of the 2023 elections.
Yes. May I state this?
So with the reforms then on a scale of 100, those are you go put the issue of trust where the people get in the judiciary.
For we don't build that trust.
On a scale of 100,
we don't if
on a scale of 100, who's the trust day from the people that want to work for? Who's you go place them?
If very high.
Who's
If
90?
Yeah, yes, around that. It very high. Why make I tell you that? Now the survey
locally, when I don't do survey for ask people and how then they feel about when I work in a Salonia.
Well, I tell you the perception management survey where management functional review survey where them do.
Una do am.
People
and say una do am.
Management functional review where management functional review where them do. Now that the number of one judicial officer to a citizen now over 100,000. You understand? At that time when the Honorable Chief Justice take over. Then when Honorable Chief Justice when they just appoint her.
Okay.
The management for
Mr. Sano,
I want
the program now.
Please, I want me allow my roundup. Please, it's very important. Now, waiting on happen. We don't reduce them. One judicial officer to 98,000 Sierra Leoneans. Where they tell you, say, I missed limited resources, I missed limited number of staff. The judiciary don't break boundaries more than what we expect. You understand? But what is very much key in this one, I family also know now that the EU report, like any other report across the world, people then they disagree based on certain things, based on the content of the information they pull out.
So now they challenge the report. Challenge the report.
We the basis now that they go out of the mandate, and therefore the report itself is flawed. Quickly, it is erroneous.
Okay. You understand? Una not believe the report. Una not believe the report, but in this same report, the EU remind the judiciary say justice delay is justice denied, and they make reference to the election petition cases them were still in a court.
If you might tell you this now, we're very important. The judiciary now, where the number of cases them where don't they now the first time this judiciary when matter come in terms of expeditious trial. Now cases them they done we they do cases them that they we they do cases inside 3 months or more.
So
cases them we they done them more than ever before. But when you also a family for know when a judge or when a court they decide or they bring come a judgment, it is based on fact, not on opinion, fact and the law.
So just get 5 minutes so we add to the program, Mr. Sano. We'll just wrap up with you now quickly and ask you to justify waiting the judiciary don't do so far. We make you believe, say, people still trust in the judiciary. Let me just get a quick response from you as to the status of Kamaremba in case.
Kamaremba in case from where they mean grant and bail this on the 7th September. There were bail conditions we set out we for fulfill. And when judge don't prescribe a condition, enough for be half fulfillment. If you make sure say you a total compliance, because Kamarimba Mansare no comply with them bail conditions, it's not that make it. But I want to assure the public that today, if they fulfill them bail conditions, then Kamarimba, the master and registrar, the left hand. But why am I family also know? Now that not only Kamarimba know they before we as a politician or whatsoever, it did before we like any other accused person. When when Kamarimba Mansare.
So it's not the bottleneck we make say now on a olam, although them be don't get bail.
Now this are the say. I say Kamarimba Mansare not meet the requirement, the bail conditions.
Waiting on left.
You know my informer stated out the conditions them.
Waiting don't left. We make on a still olam.
You know the judge say if for make available in traveling documents and in document both national and foreign documents them.
So we knowledge, we understand say in lawyer them we don't tell on say 1 minute
compliance.
The lawyer them we don't tell on say it don't born and they even be don't go get police clearance for proof say it don't born but still on not able for left and waiting.
Well, may I tell you this. One thing where we they talk to Sierra Leoneans there, more we be honest and tell them what
is right.
Fine. When when they grant bail, then come on Thursday, 2 days later. When they come, there was an affidavit where the Kamarimba Mansare sworn to. It say he not ever get any traveling document apart from the Sierra Leonean document where it provide where stamp Guinea entry visa. We all know say the other day now they come again. Imagine the first one, the affidavit and so on in. They say no ever get traveling document. The second one, then come, they say the traveling document to Kamarimba Mansare get it don't born. We don't already show say it don't get some doubt around. And the master and registrar office very credible. Over the years, waiting happened before Kamarimba Mansare, 29 fake shorties. People come in for bail people. When we go, if somebody say now, if you put Campbell Street, if they put 120, the place no they exist. If you say Shaka Stephen Street, the place no they exist. So those shorties then allow the people, the accused people for suffer or not only for suffer, they allow the for undermine the very existence of justice.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sano. We come to the program this morning quickly. Augustine Sorisembe Mara generally would they look at upholding democracy, good governance, and the rule of law. Usai Salonde.
Khadija, I think to be honest with you, we institutions they're not very honest with we.
Why is it so?
And I think say we play with justice issues in this country. I tell you what, once you don't get widespread injustice, people and they become really unhappy with governance. And I think say the judiciary therefore take the people of Sierra Leone very, very seriously. Justice issues, they're not to play issues, right? We get international partners where they put so much money in the judiciary. After special court, Mr. Sano, please. Mr. Sano, please.
No, Mr. Sano, there you misinform people. You get evidence for that. That is so indicting for say evidence.
Can I
please hold on.
That's unfair. Because the judiciary want to work, struggle with even with resources.
Okay, please hold on.
Every day with the call, we want to do more, but resources not there. We the call on government for government they do it best. If we get resources right now, we want to make judge them. They're all about the country.
Sano, please hold
That's
on.
unfair. We not for there for misinform the public because we want to make whatever gets.
All right, go on.
Not only the judiciary, they play with the lives of the people of Sierra Leone. The police themselves, then they allow themselves for the politicians misuse them. Every day in, day out. And I think say, as an institution, we're not for there for debates and findings here. The institution and for go back and then go to the drawing board and determine whose side they don't go wrong. Governance issue, not to picking issue. We work for done a country, you not sabi APC, you not sabi SLPP. We all go be affected. And the institutions here in democracy, they are created for let them keep with democracy. Right? So the minimum we expect from them, now honesty. The minimum we expect from them are for let them be fair to the people of Sierra Leone.
Right.
They should not be used by any political party. Not by the ruling party, not by opposition. Therefore, ensure say then serve the people of Sierra Leone. For now, we get instances who side then the thief ballot box, police see up, they do nothing. That's an indictment on the police. For now, get an institution who side where somebody don't lost election, he cannot court now, don't a court they can win election. That's an indictment on the judiciary. And I think so we don't suffer through the civil conflict. Are we for stand up as governance institution? We know the role where democracy, radio democracy play in terms of achieving peace and democracy. I want to go allow the institutions here for let them derogate from the standards of democracy. We not go allow them. They report here, not to people away it's judiciary, they pull them. International partners, local activists, and very, very clear. Say the trust in the judiciary don't decline. The trust in the police don't decline. Neck in trust don't decline. PPRC don't decline. We all get a responsibility. We know they all get a responsibility. Therefore, for ensure say the institutions are work for with democracy.
Them find this. But what do we they against? We know they against for say may then come with findings or reports. But what we are concerned about when you they count a report, it will be impartial.
So they say EU partial now, EU where the fund election indict, EU where the fund election largely, now they say they're irresponsible.
I am saying, when they come up with a report, when you do always you report, you findings them. You
so, Mr. Sano, you teach EU how for do the work, you teach them how for do the work, you teach them,
please, more take exception to that. More respect, please. No, please, not to Congo Market.
No, you didn't drop me.
What I want to say,
you teach how to do the work.
We talk about independence of the judiciary. Now, we're very important. Now that the opposition parties they don't win more cases than the judiciary now.
Don't I replace them in parliament? When I replace them back in parliament?
They don't win cases than the judiciary. That they show say how independent the judiciary will operate now than ever before. So therefore, we not for come here, not to papi show come here for. We come here, this is very much serious. We they talk about access to justice. We they talk about reforms that will don't happen in this 21st century. We they talk about how the judiciary want for open up.
So
we they talk about where magistrates they not ever get their places. So don't put magistrate in a place. We they talk about we want to make sure say judges then they all about the court.
This is the reforms partners they know they see all in here.
Then they see that made them if you see the thing was not only dastardly. Women say they not look at say everything was bad, and therefore as a judiciary or as an institution, we always want to assure the general public say they operate within we mandate for able to make sure say we restore that trust, that confidence, and make sure say the issue of access to justice, which is our foremost responsibility, we deliver on we mandate.
Finally, how you go describe this kind of reports? How you go describe this kind of reports? Finally,
for me, in my opinion, the report is flawed. It is erroneous. It is outside the scope of mandate of the EU.
Finally, Mr. Mara,
I think for me, I've said this that. If as a nation we take them findings here in good parts, it help with democracy. Because what in an institution I go do, then go back and then look at the lapses and fix them for 2023. But if they left, then they argue, then they rationalize, then they justify. It means say all the irregularities here within the institution will continue, and then the country in peace and democracy go day under stress towards 2023. And we will not want that again. We want to let this country enjoy peace. We want to let this country enjoy democracy. We want always let the people of Sierra Leone their interest there above all.
Therefore, make we allow the judiciary to be independent. The independence of the judiciary like a constitutional provision. So therefore, make EU or any other institution allow the judiciary for operate in line with the mandate. And we talk about independence of the judiciary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sano. In at the head of the communications department from the Salon Judiciary. But there this morning we talk about the EU election observation follow-up mission and then reports where the press release where the employees and states waiting and find out and talk about institutions like the judiciary, PPRC, Salon Police, and next say the people them don't they lost trust upon them. Now they end the program. In Akadija Bangura, they wish you all a lovely day.
And Mabel Kabade say many thanks to the studio guests. Them we will get Suri Sembe Mara and El Kasano from the judiciary. So till we meet again, goodbye.